This is going to be a very unstructured video about financial goals and why it's so difficult for people to actually save the majority of their income. So I'm not much of a goal setter, and I really don't like goals because they kind of box you in and they kind of tell you what to do, and I really hate being told what to do. But anyway, I think it's quite important to have some loose goals, especially when it comes to financial goals. So put it simply, my financial goals are to save as much of my income as possible. With this saved money, I want to have at least a 6-month emergency fund. So having a 6-month emergency fund means that if you were to lose your job and all your income, you'll be able to sustain yourself from 3 to 6 months completely, including food, rent, and all the essentials without actually having to work. And emergency funds could take a while to save up because rent is the most expensive thing here in London, and I'm sure whatever city or town you're based in, rent can be a huge amount of your income. But I think it's incredibly important to have an emergency fund, especially if you are investing your money and the stock market goes up and down. You really can't have money that you might require in an emergency to be tied down to these investments or things that can go up and down in value. So my second financial goal is to invest as much of my savings as possible. So after my emergency fund, I want to put as much of that money into investing. I have a beginner's guide to investing, which you can check out here or here. I always forget which side it is, but that will show you how you can start investing for as little as £100. Investing is a really powerful way to leverage your savings in order to grow your wealth, and then from this wealth eventually you can stop being dependent on your jobs and eventually become financially independent. My actual goal is to max out my ISA every single year. So in the UK you have a £20,000 tax-free allowance where you can put money into stocks and shares. There's some other ISAs, but I'm not going to talk about that. So saving £20,000 a year is my ultimate goal, and I know that can sound like a huge amount of money. That's around £1,700 a month, and you have to really be earning £3,000 plus in order to put that much money aside, and it's a huge goal. But I think most goals shouldn't be easy. They should be something that feels like a stretch, but you're trying to work towards that, and you have a strategy or you have multiple strategies in order to try to achieve that. So for me, for example, I am relying on my primary source of income, which will be my job, so a salary that I receive. But also, if I'm not actually reaching that £1,700 of saving per month, which is a huge amount, I will be looking at reducing my expenses, finding alternative streams of income. For example, a YouTube channel, for example, creating a business, buying and selling product that can add a few hundreds of pounds extra per month to help me reach that £1,700 per month. Examples of trying to reduce my income could be staying with parents, which doesn't sound very cool, but you can end up saving a lot of money. Another thing is cutting subscriptions such as Netflix, which are non-essential, cutting back on how much you spend when you go out, for example, buying less drinks, buying less junk food, shopping at places that are slightly cheaper for lunch, for example Tesco, and this really quickly compounds and adds up, and you can end up easily saving £50 per month by incorporating these really small changes. So in setting goals, it's quite useful to sometimes have a value driven target. For example, if I wanted on YouTube to set a goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, that will be a value driven target. Of course, in YouTube you can't really control how many people subscribe to your channel, but if you have a target for your personal finance, for example, I want to reach a investment portfolio size of £100,000, which is a 6-figure investment portfolio size, before the age of 31, which means in order for me to achieve that, I have to max out my ISA another 2 times, which is very doable. So another £40,000, and I should reach my goal of having a 6-figure portfolio size. So currently I am 28, I turn 29 in February of next year, so I have more than 2 years to max out my ISAs. In the past couple of years I have maxed out my ISAs too. I only started investing last year, and that is one of my biggest regrets of my 20s, is probably my whole life, is not having started investing earlier. But then again, it's never too late to start investing. So these goals of becoming financially independent and saving a lot of money are not easy things. You really have to have the self-discipline in order to save so much of your money. You have to be willing to not care about what other people think. So for example, I am able to save a lot of my income because I don't necessarily need the external validation from other people. So for example, I don't have a car, I will not purchase a car. I feel like a car is an unnecessary expense, especially when you live around central London. There's absolutely no point of having a car. I don't care if people think less of me if I don't have a car. That doesn't bother me. I don't wear expensive clothes. I am quite against having designer clothes. If you watch any of my YouTube videos, I don't wear anything with labels. I do understand wearing higher quality clothes feels better for the skin and stuff stuff like that, and I'm all for that. But branded stuff, personally, I don't like, and I don't care if someone thinks less of me if I'm not wearing, you know, the best designer clothes. And just by not having a car and not wearing designer clothes, I'm saving literally hundreds of pounds per month. The other thing is that a few months ago I moved back in with my parents. It's not the most fun choice I've ever made because I really do enjoy renting my own place like I did before, but the costs are astronomical. I might not like spending money on cars and outfits, but I do love property, and if I'm gonna rent a place, it has to be quite nice. So I do compromise in other places, but I don't want to compromise in others. So for me, the places that I want to stay in, the rents are incredibly high. I don't want to be part of a flat share because I don't want to share my accommodation with random people. Yes, I might be snobby in some areas, and in other areas I can compromise, but that's just human nature for you. Certain people like certain things and they can compromise easily on another. The other thing that helps me save money is that I'm not really that crazy about traveling. I do think that traveling is one of the most overall overrated things in the world, as in, even if someone had a terrible time traveling, whenever they tell the stories back to their friends and families, they always sensationalize it and make it sound a lot better than it actually is. So travel is one of those things that I do like doing traveling, and I want to do more traveling when I become financially independent. I can easily not go traveling and spend lots of money on traveling, going 3, 4, 5 holidays a year. I can easily save on that and save thousands and thousands of pounds a year. That being said, I am fortunate enough when I was a PhD student to have gone to many different countries, all paid for, like absolutely everything paid for, food and accommodation. So I do understand that I'm not traveling at all. I do get the opportunities, but it's not an out-of-pocket expense. The other thing in trying to save as much of my income as possible is the fact that I purposely don't have a huge group of friends. This is partly due to the fact that I've been really hardworking as a PhD student, and if you really want to dedicate yourself to a craft or any sort of profession, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice between having loads of friends or being really social and really dedicating to your craft, trying to improve your person. And I felt like during my masters, I kind of selected only a handful of friends that I thought were worth my time, and I realized that a lot of other friends were not only not worth my time, but they were a detriment to my mental health, they were a detriment to so many other things, and they were just leeching off my energy. And I actually decided that having fewer friends is actually better for me. I also enjoy my time more with less friends. I do easily get lonely. I actually can't be by myself for more than a single day. I don't like my own time, so I do need to have friends, and this is where a huge amount of expenditure does occur. For me, I found that if I try to reduce the amount I spend per time that I go out, the further my money will actually go. Often, if you're buying drinks or food, often you can have less, and this plays into having a healthier lifestyle. The less you drink and the more times you cook for yourself or eat at home, the better your overall health and lifestyle, and also the more money you save. This can be hard for a lot of people, I do understand that, and that's where the whole discipline bit comes in, trying to achieve your goals. If you really want to achieve your goals, you have to make some sacrifices. If you're someone who goes out every single night, spends 50, 60 pounds per night, then it's going to be very hard for you at first in trying to give that up in order to achieve your goals. So that's why in setting personal goals, those goals need to be applicable for you. They need to be meaningful for you. You can't just set a goal and not be willing to compromise for that goal. I feel like I rambled a lot in this video, so I'm gonna actually kind of close this video down. Just in summary, having financial goals is good, but you're gonna have to be willing to try to achieve them. If you don't want to reduce your expenditure, then you have to find ways in trying to increase your income. And of course, we all have 24 hours in a day, and we have to compromise somewhere. Some people compromise on sleep, some people compromise on their health. You have to choose where to make your compromises, and that's literally what life is. But anyway, I'm gonna stop the rambling. If you like this video, let me know in the comments down below if you like these more sorts of rambling videos. I do like filming them because it's fun just talking to a camera. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I will make more videos about personal finance and how to achieve your financial goals. And as always, thank you for watching.